Hi friends, welcome to my vlog Life in Malaysia, and today we are going to take a tour of the zoo which is in Kuala Lumpur. So it's called the Zoo Negara of Kuala Lumpur, and you can see I'm standing right at the entrance, and you have wonderful cabbies inside which you need to book for around 15-20 ringgits as of 2022 October, and then you can take a ride. You have all kinds of animals here. It's a wonderful place for the children. You can just bring them along, and they would love to see the farm animals, the wild animals, and all kinds of yeah, the herbivores, the carnivores, and everything you have. So they have birds, they have chimpanzees, the aerial animals, showing acrobats and everything. So it's a beautiful place. It would take roughly around um, 3 to 4 hours if you want to see each one of them. There are refreshment zones inside, so in case you feel thirsty or you're hungry, you're famished, you can just go and have some snacks. You have arrangement for toilets also, and everything is very much well marked and well indicated. There are indications on which zone you'll find which particular set of animals. So you have flamingos, and you have the bird aviary, you have ostriches and everything on one end, and then you have all the wild biggies like the tigers and lions on the other end. And then you also have the farm animals. This is something which we hardly get to see in the zoo, but then my daughter, she just enjoyed them because she could touch them, feel them, and that's something which was very interesting for her. We're touching a goat, or a pony, and on a horse. So the basic farm animals were there, and she could interact with them, she could touch them, because the others, like the tigers and lions, were out at a distance, and you could only watch them from a distance, so you couldn't really feel them. So there you can see how she's caressing the goat, and the goat is loving her massage. So she just enjoyed. In fact, that was her favorite moment in the zoo. It seems as if she has developed a wonderful bonding with the goat. And then you have the turtles, and this was again something very, 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 very. The zoo had a nice collection of. We felt we could take a very close glimpse of the turtles, and Malaysia is really famous for turtles. So there you can see how its head is going inside and how it's popping out. So very, very, very interesting. And we also saw the giant the giant tortoises and the turtles and everything. So these were some once a lifetime opportunity, seeing such rare animals from such a close distance, and especially for children, this is going to be a very, very lifetime exotic experience for them. So I would suggest and recommend that you definitely make it a point to come down to visit the zoo. And in case you are a foreigner, you need your passport, and I think there is a separate ticket that you would require to pay at the counter. And it is not very cheap for foreigners, but then definitely for the Malaysians it's quite cheap. So please, I would suggest you to make your own research before you come down to this place. And it can get quite hot, so you need to carry some water or umbrella. Though trees are in huge numbers, and you can sit down under the shade of the trees, but still I would recommend that an umbrella would be a safer option. It could become handy anytime. And you can see how beautiful these animals are, and so very amicable they look, and not at all threatening. And as far as the location of the zoo is concerned, it's very much within the city premises of Kuala Lumpur. You need not step out, so all you need to do is look out for Google Map or Waze or whatever directions you have, and it's very much in the center of the city. Roughly from Petronas Towers, it would take around it would be roughly around 10 kilometers from Petronas Towers, so you can imagine how close it is. And I'm sure you would love to have a wonderful experience out here. Of course, there are photographers also, professional photographers at the entrance of the zoo, and if you want, you can get yourselves clicked there, and you can even, you just they have got some props, and you just stand in front of the props and get yourself clicked. So they'll charge you. Again, that is not very cheap, I would say, but then for 300 photographs, I think it was around 600 ringgits, if I remember correctly. Yep, but then you get a beautiful set of pictures which you can take back home as memories and keep them in your albums. So that is something which you can opt for, though we didn't, but for many it is something very interesting. And you have photographers who will just tell you what are the poses that you need to give while standing in front of the props, and really the photos come out very, very, very good and very professional. And actually, I think you should opt for those photographs in case you really want to take back home some beautiful memories. So that is it, the giant turtle. I have never seen ever in my lifetime, how a giant turtle moves. And we were really fortunate that the moment we arrived at the spot, we could see this giant turtle moving and approaching and coming to feed the grasses. So this was a very, very, very rare capture that we had, and we enjoyed every bit of it, to capture this huge turtle, giant in size, and it's really Herculean creature, and very rare. The shell itself was so very, it was so captivating. And then the small size turtles were also there, and they really looked so tiny in comparison to the previous one, but they are as God has made them.
So many under the trees.
So in case you liked this vlog of mine, you can just subscribe to my channel, and that will really encourage and motivate me to make more such videos for you guys out there, for the tourists, or for the local Malaysians, for anybody, because I'm sure these would turn out to be helpful. It's kind of a trailer or kind of teaser, so you know what you are going to expect there, and you can take a call whether you really want to visit or not. So if you like my vlog, I would definitely request you to subscribe to my channel, and I can produce more such vlogs for you. Of course, even if you don't subscribe to my channel, then too I will bring forward more such vlogs, because I do it out of my own interest. I love it. So what I showed right now were the white tigers, which is again very rare. So we had a lovely set of white tigers in the zoo, and we could hear them roar. So my daughter, when she heard this, she was terrified initially, but then later she started enjoying and imitating the roar. So hearing the roar of a tiger, this itself is something which is so very refreshing. I would rather say not refreshing. It's something of a rare kind which you don't get to see every day, and you can only hear it in the jungles, and the other place is the zoo. Well, I felt that the animals were really well taken care of, well fed. So I noticed the elephants were also, all the animals, and every animal was very well fed and well maintained and taken care of. I did not find them starving. So that's a chimpanzee. I tried to zoom in and take as much close shot as possible, and it was showing a lot of muscles. That was something which I felt like similar to our ancestors during the Stone Age. So, sight of a chimpanzee is very rare, and the zoo is very well organized. You have the pandas also. The panda, there is a there's an ice room where the panda is kept, because it needs to be kept in cool temperatures. So the temperatures are well controlled. They are very well close to freezing, and we went there to get a glimpse of the pandas. So everything is there in the proper setting, and the animals look happy there, though they must be missing their other inmates. But yeah, we human beings are selfish, and at times we try to isolate the animals from the rest of them. They're from the rest of their crowd. But that's how we are, and uh, I'm not sure whether to support such zoos or not, but yes, um, it gives us an opportunity to make friendship with animals, to see them from a closer sight. And every person just cannot go to the jungle to spot animals, but then when there's a zoo, we can definitely ensure that we see some of these animals which we don't get to see every day in our daily lives. So I just like the posture of this chimpanzee. He was really cool, and he was sitting like a dictator out there, relaxed. And I was just wondering how it must be feeling with all its fur all over its body. Mm, and especially Kuala Lumpur has it doesn't have a very cool temperature. And that's the ostrich. Um, it's so lovely. Ostrich or emu, I'm not sure. That's emu, I believe. Yep. And just look at its movement. Ample space. It's a camel. There's no desert, there's no sand, but then there's a camel. So we could see its hump, and we loved its surroundings. So, and there were not just one there wasn't just one camel. There were 3 to 4 camels, and so they have they're friends to each other. That's what I liked about this zoo. You just don't keep one camel, and it doesn't feel isolated. So there are a couple of camels, and look how nicely they are just interacting with each other.
देखो वहीं फुल टप्स की तुम तब से रिकॉर्डिंग ही करके जा रही हो, देख नहीं रही हो कुछ।
ওটাই তো দেখছি, এটা থ্রু দিয়ে দেখছি তো, এগুলোই তো মজা দেখ।
And see how from the sand it just lifted its body up, and if you watch carefully, you could see how one of the camels moved and the other one fell into the pit, and they took turns in doing that, and how cooperative and that's the cockatoo. It's so colorful. Look at its tail, multicolored rainbow.
ওকে ধরে আছে, ওকে মরতে দিচ্ছে না, এটা খুব বদমাশ। কেন ধরে আছে?
And those are the marsupials. They look so harmless and so innocent.
মাথা বার করেছে।
Oh my god, how nice. Hello. Hello.
And those are the deer.
Oh my
So you
god.
can see the antlers, and these creatures are also so very innocent and harmless. I wonder how some people can even think of killing them.